Ah, hello there. No, I'm your Mamelu. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Katribo Studio, if you want me to continue this advocacy. Thank you for not skipping the ads. Meanwhile, I will be launching my new feature episode. Make sure to click that notification bell to be updated. Mhm. So inhale and exhale comfortably, sit back and relax. For our topic, legal tips for domestic employers, managing helper relationship is the part 2 of our Batas Kasambahay, also known as Domestic Helpers Act. I suggest you to visit part 1 to know a glimpse of this episode. Okay? So, for this episode, I have to come up with 10 legal tips every employer must know. So, are you ready? So, good morning, Ma'am Sulita Gomez, my classmate and also at the Philippine Women's College. No? So, tip number 1, employment contract. Ensure that there is a clear and legally sound employment contract in place that outlines the terms and conditions of employment. They should include details about working hours, duties, compensation, benefits, and termination procedures. So, and contract must be written according to Kasambahay's language and level of understanding. So, for example, the Kasambahay is a native Cebuano, Visayan, or uh, tribo, no, belongs to the different tribal. So the contract must be explained to the domestic worker. Okay, so, and the terms of conditions, the compensations must be explained well. And all the terms and conditions in the service contract of the Kasambahay. Yes, then tip number 2 is fair labor standards. Comply with local labor laws regarding minimum wage. So, last time we have discussed that in Davao City, it's 4,500. In National Capital Region or NCR, it's 6,500. Overtime pay, rest breaks. So, lunchtime break, and also unworking hours. So, during that time also, we said that at least a minimum of 8 hours rest are the domestic workers. And also failure to adhere to these standards can lead to legal consequences. Because some of our helpers, they can already access information, they are more educated, so they can really also complain about if they are not treated these fair labor standards. Minimum wage depends on the area as DOLE to get updated rates. So I just mentioned in Davao City and also in NCR. So just ask the Department of Labor and Employment Office regarding the updated rates for the Kasambahay. Now, please take note on this. Hiring a kasambahay for your business to do jobs in your office or your warehouse, your hotel is not allowed in the law because the compensation schemes is different according to the Department of Labor and Employment. So if you have a kasambahay, you have an office, you ask them to report in the office or even also a warehouse. You ask them to do the work of the warehouse and also how do you call that? No, their hotels or restaurants or carinderia, the rates is different. So please take note on this. Because sometimes, I even ask that when a kasambahay is assigned in this house and they're moved to another relative's house, and the kasambahay would complain that they are moving from place to place, no, and doing different chores. So let's us take note, brothers and sisters, or employers of the domestic workers, to observe this order, and also that they have different rates because if they work already in the business establishments, they have different rates according to law and according to the regulation of the Department of Labor and Employment. Tip number 3, discrimination and harassment. Avoid discriminatory practices and create workplace workplace environment free from harassment. So that is also one of our responsibility. Sometimes, we have homes and we have relatives who would come to our house and even harass the domestic workers, whether they are male, female, or binary in gender. So discrimination and harassment is we have also accountability to that. So be aware to comply with anti-discrimination laws. And sometimes shaming in front of a lot of people, no? We seems there are cases where domestic workers are treated like slaves, no? So discrimination of religion. So especially if they have different religious practice, so we allow them also to pray and to take time, no? Because we have some how do you call that, no, the just like the Muslims, they pray 3 times or 5 times a day, so they would be given break time, 12 o'clock, so even their meal time. Sex and age is, no, so discrimination in religion, sex and age is prohibited. So this is very, very important for us to really look into it. Sometimes we have that attitude that they're helpers, we cover for their transportation, we cover for their advance payment because the families are in need, and when they come, we treat them differently. So let us be reminded on discrimination and harassment. No, let us avoid discriminatory practices. So, right? So before I'll proceed, let me know your thoughts. Comments down below, opinions, and your reactions about this episode. This video will be uploaded to our official Facebook, so like and follow. During this time, I would like also to thank my all those who have been working to me. And then for this particular time, I can remember that there are also house help, domestic helpers that have come along our family who had also been sexually harassed, no, by family members also, and also at the time of their employment. So we really have to take care. Now, what are we going to do as domestic workers when the perpetrator is a relative, a family member of domestic workers under our care? What are we going to do? Are we going to cover it up or really provide help, no, psychological help to those victims? Because what they do is that for this sexual harassment, they said that they are boyfriends. Now, how could these people responsible make relationship with helpers, and when there are incidents, they would claim that they are boyfriend and girlfriends, and these things are no. So there is really a great responsibility for us employers of this domestic help. No, and sometimes there are also some pedophile who would come to the house, and then also, so really we have to ensure that it's just a matter of really giving them employment, but also giving them protection. Hi. So tip number 4, workplace safety. Provide safe working environment and adhere to occupational health and safety regulations. This includes providing necessary training, equipment, harnessing any potential hazards. Should the helper get sick and performing his or her duty, the employer must cover the hospitalization bills. So workplace safety, occupational health hazard. Sometimes even the helpers just like even this disinfectant, cleaning detergents, sometimes when they come from the province or from areas where these materials are not being used in their daily needs. So we have to orient how is the dilution of these particular chemicals for disinfectant, how are they going to protect themselves, especially the Zonrox, the muriatic acid, all these things, and they have to cover their nose. We have to orient them because these are occupational hazard. No, some of them would even acquire really diseases, no, or injury, especially muriatic acid when they inhale that because they don't know that it's very toxic and poisonous. Not even the gardeners, no, if we employ them with the use of chemicals and pesticides in cleaning or clearing the area. So we have to be mindful because we expose them, and they have to have some protective gear, just like their clothes and even the mask to protect them, no? And then if they get get sick in performing their duty, the employer must cover their hospitalization. I have one incident. I got a helper when she's a very good worker. And then during that time, but uh, she was sort of rescued, no, because the previous employer was really having her a hard time doing a lot of work, cooking, laundry, and all this stuff. And then she transferred to us to care for my eldest daughter. So the work at home is quite lighter. But later on, uh, she was vomiting blood because she has already a respiratory problem. So even if that acquired sickness was not so, we ensured her to really get medical help and medications, but we just asked her to go home because if she go home, then she can rest. And really, I really thank her. She is a very good and loving helper, no? But it is quite unfortunate that the previous employer has not really taken care of her. So I pray now she's okay. I hope she has a family of her own. So that is what we do, no? Because sometimes when we have helpers, we just send them out because they are not well. So we also ensure that they have medical checkup, basically X-ray and also some blood test, no, for these helpers if they would come to us. That is also a workplace safety. Hi. And also tip number 5, privacy rights. Respect the privacy rights of employees. So avoid intrusive practices unaware of laws related to surveillance, data protection, and privacy. No, because there are some homes who employ or who install CCTV. So there are areas also that covers the privacy of the helpers. And then also, if they refuse to give their Facebook account or email, it is their right to do so. Data Privacy Act. Sometimes you get angry, and sometimes some employees would secure the cell phone of the helpers and read, no, it's not, So please, 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 employers. So, do you have questions? Do you have questions here? So, just...
Si Arlene Flores is watching, Ivy Lopez is watching.
Okay, so, yes, so, good morning, Miss Ivy, and also Arlene Flores, no?
Marites Alino.
Good morning, my classmate Marites, no? So, good morning. So, and also, the sexual abuse, sometimes they're helpers, at the same time also the GRO, no, who will really watch over that? Sometimes that's why in our village, we are really keen now that there is a support system for helpers because they come from a long way, and then also some employers would sexually harass them, and if they have no place to go, they would succumb to this abuse. So we really have, as employers and also as neighbors, we have to watch over all these domestic workers of ours, no? Sometimes if they are also, they're exploiting boys, no? Also, so we have to care for this from abuse. So as employers, we might even remind them, no, that is against the law. That's why in our homeowners association, we are really now quite serious to install the Kasambahay committee in our homeowners association, so that we can also remind, just like a brother and sister, to remind that that is not a proper way to make your domestic workers. Okay? So quite serious, right? But we really have to care for each other. Then tip number 6, termination procedures. So follow procedures when terminating an employee. Sudden or unfair terminations may lead to legal consequences. No, not just as per the moment, you go there, you're terminated and all these things, So you have to follow procedures. You have to due notice. And sometimes you have to explain why they are terminated, why they have committed this offense. We really have to exert effort to communicate to our workers. Sometimes we bring that to the attention of our neighbors, no, the complain about our house help or domestic workers. We really have to tell them face to face, because from the very beginning there is a contract, there is an agreement of services to be delivered. It was make sure that it was clear to all this, the tasks, the responsibilities, and the consequences. Because in the case, if there would be an illegal dismissal, then there are legal consequences. And sometimes other will take it. Just like in our village, there was a case of a domestic helper that was not really treated well by the employer. And a neighbor, a concerned neighbor, really came and helped her to the barangay. No, so that there are legal consequences because they are not just basically they could be very powerless, but there could be other responsible neighbors or kind persons who will take on their welfare. So note, your kasambahay is not entitled to separation pay according to the law. So they are not entitled to separation pay. So make a gracious exit. Let them also, and even you can help them also good referral, no? If they are so you can also give and then have that documented in the barangay. I would recommend, no, so that you are also protected from other future claims or adverse claims on your side, so make use of the functions of the barangay to document, to record it, not necessarily a complaint, but to have just have it recorded that on this day this particular house helper has been services has been terminated. Okay, so that would also free us from unnecessary worries, and then we keep explaining to our neighbors all this stuff that has happened. It's really unnecessary. Why will you explain? You just explain it and have a gracious exit as much as possible, because they are also persons that need to be respected. Okay, then tip number 7, accurate record keeping. Maintain an accurate records of employment. So date of entry, and also including hours worked, wages paid, and any relevant documentation. So you really have to, as an employer, you have to record everything because you have a legal contract, you have an agreement. Now, this can be crucial in case of disputes. So, pay slip every payday must be for your protection. So, not necessarily that standard pay slip, ha? So, if you also have to do it, is even a notebook lang. Halimbawa, 1 to 15, 16 to 30, and what other benefits, if you give them extra allowance, medical or whatever, you just have to have that benefits and compensation properly received. No, even in a simple notebook, you can do that. Then, tip number 8, legal status. Ensure that the helper has a legal right to work. You can hire 15 years old but not above 18 years old. Because 18 years old, given that the workload is different from adult helpers. So do you understand? You can hire 15 years old but not above 18 years old, given that workload is different from adult helpers, diba? Because sometimes they already do multitasking. 18 years and above workers, they can do a lot. Even you ask them to go to the bank, deposit, withdraw, and all this stuff, huh? So hiring 14 years old will be charged as child labor. Take note, employers. 14 years old below will be child labor. There is a crime against humanity. No, child labor is a crime against humanity. Uh, in our village, there is this construction activities, and then we observe that I really check how old are the boy, but sometimes they are coached. They said they are already 18, but they are small bodies, and they're ba. So we really have to even check, because there are a lot of construction firm who does this, no, because their father is a construction worker. They brought along the children, and similarly they are doing the same hard work or labor work. So this is child labor, is a crime against humanity. So I even called out, one of our neighbor who was doing construction, that he will have to ensure that they are not children, 14 years old and below. And we can just scare, no? And I think he did that because they are farm workers. I think what I observed is that they are children of their farm workers, and they were brought when he had a construction in our village. And I really called him, his attention, that it's it's not proper. So we can just also say that, no, just call out na illegal na, no, it's not, it's a crime also. There is a criminal implications about child labor. So we don't have necessary to file a case. Number 9, Social Security and benefits. So fulfill related Social Security contributions and other benefits as required by local laws. According to Batas Kasambahay, if the salary is below 5,000, the employer is responsible to pay for their social benefits like PhilHealth, SSS, and Pag-ibig. Employer, so if below 5,000, so you will cover the SSS, the PhilHealth, and the Pag-ibig contribution of your workers. Check? Okay. Tip number 10, communications and respect. Maintain open and respectful communications with your helpers kasambahay. Address concerns promptly and seek resolve issues amicably. Make sure that your helper is registered in the barangay. Okay? So communications and respect. So when you have a new domestic worker, and that is also one thing that we also in our homeowners association, that especially if they are coming from other barangay or other municipality, city, or province, so let them be recorded in the barangay that there is a new member in your household, a kasambahay, and also register them, or even I think you have also to guide them where is the barangay, the health center. These are basic information that we should provide to our domestic workers so that they know where to find help also in case that you are not around. Okay, so open and respectful communication. This kasambahay, we have to really say thank you for their good work and also be gentle on them when they committed. I remember we have a kasambahay. He belongs to one of the tribo, no, the indigenous people's community. And then when she was in the house, what she did is that I told her, the baon for the children is you have to prepare pork chop. And she did not know what is pork chop. So because she really came from a remote place. And then also we were using electric stove. So there was really a freak accident. So they know that from low, no, the electric stove from low to medium to high, and when it reaches the high, when it reaches the boiling point, you have to move it to the medium or even low. But I missed that one. There was really there was overheating. And it was good that we have a breaker, electric breaker. So there was an electric shut off. And then what will I do? So basically I was angry because I was worried and all these things. But I realized that, I miss that point to orient properly the helper, the use of the electric stove, or even the cooking stove. If they come from remote areas, they usually have fire or charcoal as their cooking method. So even switching on the stove, the gas stove, or even the how to call it, LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, and how to turn it off. No, because we have another freak accident also of that liquefied petroleum gas because of lack of instruction. So during that time, you could be angry, but you have to explain to them and do it properly. So that's it, no? So communication and respect. What I can only say is that I have also helpers that have challenges, but when I track it, they are really victims of sexual or child abuse. There are certain character flaws on them. But when you listen and communicate to them, they are survivors of violence and abuse. From my own experience, that's why we have to treat them well and we have to care for them also. The law just provide us the basis for their protection and our protection. But it is important that we have to treat them with respect, with kindness, with generosity also. Okay?
Okay.
So let's take time, create happy memories, and we continue to share for each other, especially in our communities. Okay? For your assignment, take a picture of kasambahay you knew from the past. Tell us your experience with them and tag Ask Mamilu on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. You can also scan my QR code to get the latest updates on the social media. So today, I really want to thank one of my kasambahay, no Merly. Wherever you are, I hope we will have the time to see again. You are one of the best kasambahay that ever come to our home. So thank you, Merly. God bless you and may you have good life, good health. Thank you very much. So again, this episode is for education, entertainment, and information purposes only. So it does not replace legal advice of the professionals. Again,